Hello everyone, hope you're doing well. In this video, I'm going to be talking about my own experience of publishing paper in academic journals. I am currently a PhD student, and I think if you are a researcher or you're thinking about doing a PhD or you are a PhD student, this video can be useful for you. So I am already in my last year of PhD, and during my PhD I had to publish at least one paper in a good journal. What is a good journal? A good journal is based on the explanation of the committee of my university. It should be either Q1, Q2, or Q3 levels. So these are like the levels that some of the journals have, and they get this ranking based on their impact factor and so on. So I started writing my paper about 3 years ago, and I finished it in 6 months. It was just a literature review of the state of the art, and then I chose one journal to publish my paper, and the whole journey started there. I sent my paper for that journal, and it took around 2 months till I get the answer from that journal. And they said that we cannot publish your paper after 2 months because it's not in the scope of our journal. And it took me around 2 months just to hear a simple no. And they said it's out of scope and we cannot publish it, sorry. So I started looking for another journal. This time I tried to find something that is more related to my field. And this is very important, guys or girls. Always when you're looking for a journal, try and see if they have similar papers to your paper. Otherwise, there is a chance that they just reject your paper, and you don't want to waste time. So the second journal had different papers that were related to my field. So I sent the paper to that journal, and they said, okay, during the process of submission, they said, if your paper get accepted, you have to pay $2,000 in order to publish it open access. And that journal only had the open access option, and I could not skip it. So I talked to my professor and I was like, okay, prof, I wrote the paper, I did all the things, now I have to pay $2,000 just to publish my work. How does this work? And then she said, yeah, there are many journals that are like that. Don't worry, you can pay some of the fee, I can pay some of the fee, and then university can cover some of the fee that you have to pay to the journal, and if it get accepted, no worries. And it was, to be honest, it was a little bit shocking for me, because as a researcher, you're doing all the work and then you have to pay $2,000. I mean, for a student, that's not cheap. Again, after a month and a half, I got another no from this journal, this new journal, and they said we cannot publish your paper because it's out of scope. And then they said you need to have a different method, and so I don't remember their comments exactly, to be honest, but they rejected it. And it's pretty okay to get rejected. I've heard this from many other PhD students, that during the journey of publishing papers, they sent papers to journals and they got rejected many times. And it's okay, but the whole process, like, it takes around 2 to 3 months just to hear one word, no. And I think that's not cool. So that's one of the first things that I really didn't like about the whole process of publishing papers. Then I chose another journal, and this time it got accepted. After a month, this journal was a little bit faster, and they said, okay, we can publish your paper, but you have to review and you have to make some changes. So I did some modifications and I sent it back, and they accepted it and they published it. So I had that check mark for publishing a paper in a Q1, Q2, or Q3 journal. But the whole process took me around a year. Like, from the time that I started till the time that the paper got published. Even the last journal, it took around 3 months till they publish my paper. And you know, in my field, I'm studying computer science, and I really like the technology is changing all the time, and the pace of advances in my field is like pretty fast, and it's 3-4 months is a lot, and wasting around 6 months just for publishing a paper, you know, sometimes the technology that you're working on, it gets old, and then once your paper is out there, it's not very fresh. So I didn't like that as well. In many fields, it might not be the case. Maybe some people who are studying, I don't know, literature or history, they have a lot of time to publish their work. But in my case, no, that's just a lot of time wasted. But this time I was lucky because I didn't have to pay any money. My university had a contract with the publisher, and they said that we covered the fees, and I think it was again around 1,000 euros, 2,000 euros or something, but because the university paid, I don't remember the number. But I think it's still a lot. It doesn't matter. Well, it matters if I'm paying or the university is paying, but still, an academic institution or an academic person is paying for the journal. And I don't understand how this works, because during the past year, I got some emails from some journals that they wanted me as a reviewer. So they said, okay, we send you papers and you review it, and then you give us the feedback. And then I noticed that if you want to do that, it's just for free. So they're not going to pay you a penny for reviewing the papers. So that's another piece of the puzzle that I just don't get. It's just, how does this system work? We're doing the research and we are doing it for free. Then when we want to publish it, we have to pay the journals, or the university or the academic institution that we're working with is paying on behalf of us. And then they're asking us, the journals, to do the review, and they're not paying anything. So it's kind of crazy. So I was thinking, why should we do this? And I got frustrated a little bit at some point, to be honest. But besides all of this, I was like, okay, I just checked this checkpoint. I reached this checkpoint and everything is done. And this year I wanted to publish another paper of my work, and I sent it to a journal, and they rejected my paper, but I was not very convinced with the review that I received from the reviewers. I think they didn't read my work with enough attention, so they just rejected it. And I think that's another thing that is not, nice about the whole process of publishing a paper. So you want to get a credit from a journal by publishing your article in that journal, but at the same time, maybe you get a reviewer that doesn't understand your work and you get rejected. And now I'm kind of, I have doubts about the credit that you receive from those journals. So it's like a game that I don't understand. Like they have all this system that you have to pay for it. They have their golden open access, silver open access, normal open access, or not open access, and then they have like, they built a big market around it. And as a researcher, I don't like it because I don't get anything. Most of the times I have to pay and I have to do all the work. And what do I get in return? Maybe I get some credit, but now I'm having doubts about that credit. I can just publish my paper, I don't know, on Medium, and then if it's a good work, people are gonna pay attention to it. It's gonna be circulated. And the whole process of peer reviewing, I don't really trust it. So I think the whole process is kind of weird. I don't know about your experience. If you're a researcher or if you're a PhD student, I would be thankful if you write in the comments, how was your experience? How do you see this whole process and this whole system? Thank you very much for watching this video. Sorry if I nagged a little too much, but that was just something that I felt like I need to share because I've heard the same kind of stories from other PhD students and other researchers. So I thought it is worth sharing. Thanks for watching.